Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Feel free to hop into the chat and let me know where that is. Today, we're going to be talking about life shifting reflection questions. And my name is Mariah. I am the creator of Mint Mind, a hub to bring you back to yourself, back to your center. And I really just wanted easily accessible, free meditation and hypnosis, bedtime stories to, like I said, bring you back to yourself. Today, we're going to be doing a deeper dive, so feel free to grab your journal, grab a pen and paper, and feel free to write down any of these reflection questions that we're going to be going into. I do lives weekly every Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. So feel free to join, connect with me, and let me know what you're wanting from the channel. If that's more bedtime stories, if that's just pep talks, morning meditations, refocusing content, reflection questions like today. I am a real person and I really enjoy your feedback. So if there's something that you're wanting for this channel, just remember this channel is for you and you are helping me craft it. So whatever you're needing, there will be more of. Today, like I said, we're going to be talking about life-shifting reflection questions and maybe get a sense of what some reflection questions you tend to ask yourself when you want a refresh, when you want to refocus. These reflection questions in particular are going to help us understand what shifts we need to make to sharpen our focus, to sharpen our direction. So some of these questions may be uncomfortable, and it's important to sit with them to understand why they feel uncomfortable, to get clear answers or at least start thinking about these questions. So I'm going to kind of hop between here and the chat. So if you're joining, just say hello, send me a little wave, and let's get into it. The first step of asking these reflection questions is to connect to the place where we're going to be asking these questions. I have a chat friend that says, "Good morning, Mariah. Good morning. Welcome to today's live." So let's connect to where we're going to ask these questions, right? Which is that space within. And in order to do that, we have to minimize any distractions around. So if you've got your phone, make sure it's turned off. And this is just time that you've set aside for you. And if you're not driving or operating any heavy machinery, you can just allow for your eyes to close and just take a deep breath in. On the exhale, trace your exhale from the crown of your head all the way down to your feet. This is a great grounding technique. So every breath in, open yourself up, be receptive to all that you'll receive today. And on the exhale, tracing your breath from the crown of your head all the way down to your toes, down to the soles of your feet. And do a third one on your own time. Take your time with it. And just know that this session is all about you. Nothing external matters now. You can start to deepen your inhales and your exhales as long as you can. And with every breath, just pulling all of this awareness back into the center of your body. Calling all of your energy back into this moment and just pouring it back into the body. Do a scan of your body from head to toe, just noticing where you are right now, not judging, just observing. You can ask yourself, how am I feeling today? And allow whatever needs to surface to do so. You can also ask yourself, how have I been sleeping? And you can notice how these answers simply surface. There's no need to judge or criticize if it's healthy, if it's true. These answers come up for a reason, and we want to hear them. So, just making the intention to bring this non judgmental, this open, this accepting energy into the following questions, also allowing them to surface in the same way. And if you have a pen or paper next to you and any of these questions really resonate with you, or something pops up that you need to remember, you can write them down. But I'll also set the suggestion that you'll remember everything you need to remember in the session today. What do I need to release today? Take a moment to do so. In what areas of my life do I need a refresh and a refocus? What practical things do I feel called to do in order to refresh and refocus? What do I truly believe about myself? And is it helping or hurting me? If it's hurting me, what new affirmation can I update it with? Are there any areas of my life where I've been feeling disempowered? How can I infuse more confidence into this area? Are there any areas of my life that have been taking too much energy from me? How can I bring this area into a state of balance? What in my life has been causing unnecessary noise? What can I do to turn down the volume? What is something I know I need to remove from my life? And what can I replace it with? What's something practical that could make my day to day experience easier? What's something practical that could make my day to day experience more pleasurable? When I look at myself, what are some of my weak points? How can I strengthen them? When I look at myself, what are my strengths? And how can I show these strengths off? What do I have today that I couldn't dream of having 5 years ago? What do I no longer see in my life 5 years from now? What do I want to replace or update that with? Is there anything I'm not seeing here or am missing completely? What does my highest self wish I had the audacity to do? What small steps can I take in that direction today? Great work. And notice if there are any other questions that would like to surface for you today. Any final questions? And take a deep breath in, amplifying this state of connection, knowing you can return to that inner voice. Have this dialogue anytime you wish. And on the exhale, integrate these answers, knowing that you'll be bringing back with you everything you need to today. And when you're ready, and only when you're ready, open your eyes to a clearer, more understanding, more centered on your path version of you. Welcome back. Hop into the chat. Let me know how that was for you. What were some of your favorite reflection questions? What are some reflection questions you want to start integrating into your daily practice? Some of my favorites off the bat are, what does my highest self wish I had the guts or the audacity to do? That one for me is extremely powerful. It causes me to look at things that I don't necessarily want to look at, but through the eyes of my highest self, the version of me who loves me so much, who only wants the best for me. And what does she wish I had the guts or the audacity to do? And I think for a lot of us, maybe it could be narratives of having more self-love or being having more grace with ourselves, being less critical. Sometimes that does take guts and audacity, right? I always love to ask the question, especially in deep meditation, is there anything I'm not seeing here or missing completely? This is another reflection question that causes you to look at your life, look at yourself through a higher lens, a higher perspective, right? Is there anything that this version of me is missing completely? Another powerful one that I love so much is, what do I have today that I couldn't dream of having 5 years ago? That one's a gratitude practice in disguise. And you could even say 3 things. You could say, what's the smallest thing even? What's the most simple thing that I have today that I couldn't dream of having 5 years ago? Some of my other favorites are, what's something practical that I could do to make my day-to-day experience easier? I also ask the same question with, instead of easier, more pleasurable. Kind of shifts the mind a little bit. Easy, it's not difficult, right? But more pleasurable is, it's enticing. That's a different layer to it. I've got some friends in the chat saying, yeah, I like that one too. A bit more peace for sure. Absolutely. I've got another person in the chat waving at me, sending me a heart. Thank you so much. There are some difficult questions in here, right? What's been causing unnecessary noise in my life? These are hard to sit with, right? In what areas of my life have I been feeling disempowered? These are really important questions to ask yourself. Sometimes we don't necessarily know we're feeling disempowered unless we name it, unless we look at our lives and the areas of our lives through the lens of that. Is there any point that I'm feeling disempowered? in my day-to-day experience. This is another big one. What do I no longer see in my life 5 years from now? It's a hard one. Especially when we're in deep states of meditation or hypnosis, whatever it may be, asking ourselves questions like that can be hard, can be a little heavy, because usually you want to look at the future with all the good things that you're calling in and all the good things that you're manifesting. But is there anything specifically, great reflection question, is there anything specifically that has been blocking you from receiving that, right? If we're in a toxic relationship or in a toxic work environment, how can we call in something different, something new, something updated, something better for us if we're still in those environments? Hard reflection question to have to sit with, that's for sure. What do I no longer see in my life 5 years from now? Hopping back to the chat. Any questions, any comments? I have a question. Where are you from? I'm really from all over. I live in the United States, but I have been traveling nonstop for quite some time. But I've lived in Arizona, I've lived in Mexico, I've just lived all over. How is this for you? How are you guys liking Mint Mind so far? Are there any types of meditation or hypnosis tracks that you are wanting more of? Maybe bedtime stories. And then if you are watching this also on recording, if you're watching this back, feel free to comment on any of my videos, any of my shorts, or my posts. Sometimes I'll post a little poll. What are you wanting more of? So feel free to engage and interact with that. I don't see any questions in the chat, so I hope this was beneficial to every single one of you guys. I do have a meditation on Mint Mind on YouTube that will have some of these reflection questions in there. Anything that's titled redirection, refocus, reflection will have some of these questions within it. But I'm sending lots of love to every single one of you guys. I'll end a little bit early here today, and have a great week. All right, keep your mind minty.